You gonna show me bullet hole in the wall and I visiting you? Man, that's it. Look here. Hit the road, Jack. Ain't coming back no more, no more. I tell you. These, the song said these are serious times. I can't play it. But these are really, really serious times, my brother. And one has to use common sense. I mean, it's like some tourists. I often say they play too touristy, and so they get into trouble. You got to use common sense. They go somewhere on a beach. They meet one guy. He say, "Hey, baby doll, you looking so cool. I could get you a spliff, or I could get you some coke." And they take that offer right away. They don't know what in the spliff or the coke. Then the next thing, let's go for a ride, baby doll. And they're gone. First time you see the person, you even get a good description. You're being stupid. Stupid. And I say that not only with tourists, because some of our girls, they go off and go places and do the same thing. That don't make sense. I had a certain friend who did the same thing in one Eastern Caribbean island. I won't call the name of the island or the person. Just don't take chances. Just by way of explaining this, and when I talk about common sense, I used to go to Jamaica at one time almost once every 6 months. That was my playground, as it were. And I went down to Disco Inferno. I was staying at a hotel in Montego Bay. And Disco Inferno is way down on the outskirts, like you're going towards Falmouth, but not way down there. I forget the exact area. And since I was alone, when I got into this disco, yes, some ladies joined my table. And sometimes we Turks and Caicos Islanders, even when we were students, because we had that almighty American dollar, we liked to show off and buy people rounds. So anyway, all went well. I danced up a breeze and had a good time. I wasn't looking nothing beyond that. But when I was ready to go to my hotel in Montego Bay, one of the lady asked if she could have a ride with me, as in the same taxi, as she lives somewhere on the outskirts of Montego Bay. I said, no problem. Of course, by that time now, Robbie gotten a few drinks. And so when I got to my hotel, I paid the taxi, told them thanks. The lady asked if she could come in with me. I said, sorry, my dear. No, I can't handle that. Can't handle that. And I went to my room. Later in the night, security came to me. A ride, go home how she can. I will call up your superiors. I couldn't be so stupid. How do I know what she can do when she get there? Most likely somebody else would come in and rob me. And because tourists as well as Turks and Caicos Islanders use common sense. All right? Now we are streaming live on RTC TV. You must get the RTC app. Streaming live on Facebook, YouTube. You can't miss it. All right? Now, continuing, I was expecting a gentleman to call in on that fire hydrant situation, because what he said to me was that he called the director of the water department, who said that was not his responsibility to repair. Some other department is responsible for that. Now, I do not know, I cannot attest to the veracity of the statement made by the caller, and that's why I wanted him to state his case himself. And that's something I don't like. So often people will call me about things, but then don't call to support their own allegations. But what I do find in government is that too many individuals are parochial in their thinking. And when I say parochial or departmental, like this department ain't responsible. So if your department isn't responsible for this, get on to the other department and tell them, hey, look here, this is the situation. I had a situation where I was trying to help someone to get into a facility where he can be better cared for, because even now he is still living in a deplorable condition. I spoke to a certain individual and the response was, well, this department don't deal with that, don't deal. Well, if your department don't deal with it, what I'm looking for is solution. Solve the problem. We have so many different social provisions, so much money in the bank. Let our people live their best lives. I remember former Speaker Clayton Green, that was one of his pet phrases. I remember, I think E.J. Saunders, Honorable E.J. Saunders, he likes that too. Good morning, Honorable E.J. I need to hear from you, man. What's going on? Yes. Next week I'm going to have two ministers on. The Minister of Health, I think, on Wednesday, and then must be the Minister of Tourism on Friday. Looking forward to both of them. I have a very nice, warm welcome for them. All right? Now, not because I emphasize the warm. I don't want nobody cancel out on me. All right? There's a song which say you don't have to be a star to be on my show. But all of you are stars in your own right. Okay? Ain't nobody could tell me I ain't no star, whether I be in Hollywood or not. It's a matter how you feel about yourself. You get me? All right. Now, before I get to the main motion that I said I'm going to bring, the next, and on this same fire hydrant matter, whether it's EMS, Water Department, or whoever, the relevant ministers listening or individuals connected, please get it fixed so people could get adequate water supply. Now, I want to compliment the volunteer groups who are looking out for our roaming donkeys in particular. We see many of them who are maimed by all the wires and things that are left by the telecommunications providers. And what have you, many of them, their hoofs just about rotting off. Some of them have clove hoofs and so on. Some of them badly bitten by other donkeys or by dogs. I want to express my own gratitude to all of those so involved. Some locals and some who are just resident here. Thanks ever so much. But I'm going to urge the general public to be more careful when driving. I see so many persons, when they see donkeys in the road, they keep on driving and blowing horns. You don't know which angle the donkey will turn. I often say to my daughters, and I show them that, slow down until you think it's clear. Many accidents can be avoided if we pay due care. I'm making a plea to many of you dog owners. Do better than what you are doing. There are these free spay and neuter clinics. Go and get your animals attended to. Years ago that would be content with the dry pot cake, that's why we call them pot cake dogs. These dogs biggity. I know Welty had some dog. If you don't put gravy there or some piece of meat, he ain't eating it. You smell it and he pass by. Biggity sets of dogs these days. Good morning, Mrs. Noise. How are you, Sarah? Don't get to see you, but I see your comments on Facebook from time to time. And I know that you are concerned about the animal welfare. Now let me just check my WhatsApp as well as those who've logged in otherwise. And Leonard Franklin said, agreed. They work in silos, not a public good where service delivery overlap. Each department should have a compressor. Good morning, Jermaine Fulford. Nice to see you there. And again, thankful for the conversation we had and the comment you made when I was saying that many of the Haitians, they dance and move their bodies more like the Africans. I mean, in my view, of course, Haitians are the closest in terms of purity to the African race. Many of us elsewhere have been so diluted. But the point you made, I welcome it indeed. And you were saying because African is a big continent with so many different cultures and so on, I could have narrowed it down to the West Coast where many of us in the West Indies, our foreparents, that is, came from, you know, like Mali, Senegal, and some of those areas. It's always nice chatting with you. And any member of the public could always feel free to correct me if they think I make a mistake or to add on to what I may have said. I always welcome that. We're never too old to learn. It's like yesterday and the day before, as brand ambassador for the Ministry of Tourism, part of my mandate is to assist in the training of our taxi drivers and tour operators. And so far, I have done 3 of them and will continue. And each one said, hey, listen, you know, that's something new I learned. At least, you know, as I conducted the tour for them to show them what a tour should be, then that's the kind of comments I do get back. And I emphasize the point. And taxi drivers, those of you who are listening to me, whether here, Providenciales, or elsewhere, talk with your guests. Share the history of the islands, the significance of various, be it signs, implements, whatever. Because in Grand Turk, in my view, the history is its main selling point. Last evening, I was talking with a friend. And again, it's not a matter of show off. I don't profess to know it all. But the little I do know, I'm always willing to share. Like I always say, what good is knowledge if you don't share it? Good morning, Michael Saunders and Anthony Gardner. Anthony, I almost believe you were my student at one time. Good morning to you. Proud to see what you have become. Even a preacher. I sat and listened to you preach some time ago at a funeral. Good morning. If it is the same Anthony Gardner, there could be more than one. But anyway, and so as I was sitting, and I'm digressing a bit, but just to bring out the point, Waterloo, which is the official residence of the governor, and how that name was derived. And you know, when I mentioned to him about the Battle of Waterloo, when the British defeated Napoleon in war on the 18th of June, 1815. That was the same day that the premises of Waterloo was bought. That's why, and then eventually government bought it and is used as governor's office, residence. How many of you did know that? If one of you, two of you didn't know it, means your biggest challenge, in other words. All right? Let me get back to the main part now. And so before I do so, Mr. Technical Operator, I want to hear one more island song. Give me a little more music in my bones. Lighten me up so I could talk a little bit more as I get down to this resolution. Good morning, Cat Williams. Robert Cat Williams, how are you? When I mentioned how Waterloo was derived, the name was derived, did you know all that history there? There's quite a bit of history about these islands, and I share them daily with tourists and, of course, with our taxi drivers, and hopefully come September, October, I'll be able to do so with the schools, because there is so much that our people need to know. You cannot be proud of something if you don't know about it. All right? As the saying goes, ignorance enslaves, knowledge liberates. Island music, as we get down to that motion. And like I said to you, by way of background then, let me say, many of you struggle to find shelter for yourself and your family. The average Turks and Caicos, the value of land has skyrocketed over the past years. I saw where somebody had a piece in Lormus, must have been 16,000. That must be 5 or 6 acres, eh? Because I don't see how Lormus, landlocked and way up there, how that property could be arrived at. I see where a fellow in Providenciales have a piece and they tell him $120,000. I am not querying so much the value, but what I am talking about, Miss Valerie Adams Malhedo, I'm not sure I have seen you here many times before, but whether it's your first, second, or third, welcome to Expressions. The point is, these prices are out of the reach of Turks and Caicos Islanders. You see, we had over 300 students graduating. Many of them will go to universities and colleges, and in a few years, they would be looking for houses in the next 5 years. Quite frankly, I think that's just about unrealistic. It's a pipe dream. I haven't seen the surface scratch for the first one as yet. While the grass is growing, the cattle is starving. So in conjunction with those proposals, land must be made available. And my motion called on the government that we, the voters, call on government to put all remaining Crown land in a land bank, and that a ceiling be placed on the price of residential land, island by island, as even with the current discount, not many Turks and Caicos Islanders can afford it. So take that person with a piece of land for $120,000. That means he would have to pay $60 if he get a 50% discount. I'm not saying depending on the location, because I got that much sense. I spent a little time in real estate. It varies by location. All right? But it's awfully difficult for that Turks and Caicos Island to come up with $60,000. And so our government needs to be bold. And when I say that, I'm speaking to this current one, but even to the next one, whoever that might be. We need to address that and address this now, because like I said, this is where I see there's going to be social strife in the not too distant future if this land matter is not addressed. So when I'm through after this music, I'll go back, piece of music, I'll go back to the subject, and I'm going to see if I could get 20 of you to second this motion if you support it. And don't just tell me you second it, but give me your reasoning. And I will send a copy of this program to each minister. RIG, warm me up a little bit more with some Turks and the Caicos music, part of our culture. You hear what I say, culture, girl?
Peace and love. We don't need no guns. Look at the beauty all around us. We should be smiling. Who's gonna take the blame for this? Is it me? Is it you? Is it them? Is it us? Oh gosh. Sometimes you don't know who to trust. I'm begging you to stop, please stop. We don't want the violence. We don't need no violence in these little islands. Bring away all the guns and dash away ammunition. We need love, peace and love. We don't need no guns. The youths are the future of our great nation. We should be united, but we're out here fighting with a gun. This chapter needs it done, you leave must done. Who gon' take the blame for this? Is it me? Is it you? Is it them? Is it us? Oh gosh. Sometimes you don't know who to trust. I'm begging you to stop, please stop. Oh, I remember not so long ago, things never used to be so. We gotta stop the violence in this little country. Tell me why your brother got to be your enemy. We don't need no violence in these little islands. Bring away all the guns and dash away ammunition. We need love, peace and love. We don't need no violence in these little islands. Bring away all the
do is pick up a tool, pick up a pen, pick up your computer, as the case might be. Good morning, Bernard Tatum. How are you? Notice this? For those of you in the Providenciales area, there will be farmers market this Saturday from 8 o'clock. You can get some of your organically grown food stuff, some grown right on Provo, and quite a bit from over in North Caicos, to a less extent Middle. I'm not sure if they do participate. But I have seen quite a bit of stuff there. Leonard Franklin say, need no violence. Very true. We got it. Yeah, we got it. I would hope that the younger fellows and those who are prone to gun violence would heed that call. I am not picking on the Haitians, but it's evident that a great deal of these gun violence are in those communities with Haitians, and quite often is Haitian on Haitian. That makes no sense. You're burning down Haiti. Don't try burn down Turks and Caicos and burn down one another. Let's work together to make things better, not make them worse. And this weekend, 18 swimmers from Salt Rakers Aquatic Club will be competing in the 2020 held July 4, that's today, through the 6th, at the North Shore Pool, St. Petersburg, Florida. Bennett, to get a sizable, I wouldn't say necessarily Olympic-sized swimming pool, we should be able to produce some good swimmers. We may not produce many to play in the soccer leagues. We have one or two like Billy Forbes and a couple others, or even in this cricket team. Well, I doubt, because cricket seems to be a dying sport among the youngsters. We may not have many going to the NBA, but I feel if we put the right facilities, coaching and the like in place, and the Hamiltons likewise have done quite well in that area, then I think we can make ourselves proud. All right. Now let's get back to this then. Like I said early on, for those of you joining me, you know and I know that even with discount, they are out of the reach of most Turks and Caicos Islanders. And therefore, I'm calling on the government, on your behalf, to call on the government. Let them hear your voice to set a ceiling on the price of residential crown land, island by island, as even a land bank reserved for Turks and Caicos Islanders only. And like I have said before, establish a housing and mortgage facility. A Turks and Caicos, the mortgage corporation could take it back, pay for it, and then it'd be available to another Turks and Caicos. Half of them live in flats in the United Kingdom. But Turks and Caicos Islands people don't believe in no damn flats. They want their own facility, always posting. It'd be nice if I could hear your voice, what you think about this proposal. And others of you, is for you to call in. Let your voices be heard. This is not a matter where they can discriminate. Good morning.
I share the spirit of your proposal. I share the spirit. I don't like the socialist component of it, and I can tell you why. Residential and commercial property, as was the policy at the time. And guess what? The door shut on me, slammed right on me, boof. What? And so for this reason, I disagree. Mr. Hall, I think if the door was closed on me, and it ain't because I jealous or envious of other people. If you're saying that there's a situation of scarcity, if you're saying that you're going to put forward a policy where any person that has not had a piece of crown, a piece of residential or commercial government property, that I would be excluded from that list, there's no way I would agree to such. I took my own sweat and money to provide and to buy. That's the reason why I disagree with that policy. I would prefer this particular position being taken. Yes, I'm not saying that we shouldn't look at something in terms of making land more affordable. I agree with that part. But the second contingent of it is, Mr. Hall, on a continual basis, I hear you talking about these development agreements and what we can do and what we can leverage. If we're saying that we have significant housing needs, why don't we make the benefit to the people from us using and leveraging these development agreements for their benefit? Why don't we put within those development agreements clauses to benefit the people in the context that those developers that are coming here that pay very little tax in the global picture of it? Because when you sit down and think about it, every time a hurricane comes, every time I turn around, we're writing off money. So it's better we get something up front. So if we say we need social housing, if we need housing for our people to live, put $1, $2, $3 million in every development